What are the 5 freedoms that the First Amendment grant us?
Freedom of press, freedom of speech, freedom to do what you guys are doing here today.
I don't. Inform me.
Huh?
No, nor do I care.
Shit, I don't know. What's after that? I don't know after that.
Okay. All right, guys. So we are doing this for the first time, guys. We just got everything set up. And hey, what's up, Houston? Hey, what up?
Keep up the good work.
Thanks, brother. So we're downtown 16th Street Mall, and we're just here for our first episode, guys. Trying to get some interviews. So we'll see how it goes.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something.
So we're talking about the Constitution today, and we're specifically talking about the First Amendment. Do you know the 5 freedoms granted to us through the First Amendment?
Like the freedom of speech, is that one?
That is 1.
Petition
That's 2.
and assembly.
That's 3.
Speech, wait, what have I said? Speech, petition, assembly, press?
That's right. One more.
I don't know. I can't think of.
Religion.
Oh, religion. Okay.
Do you know the 5 freedoms that are granted to us by the First Amendment?
I don't. Inform me.
You want to take a guess?
I'm going to say speech, bear arms. Oh, no. That's the right for... I don't know.
No, nor do I care.
Do you have any idea? You want to make a guess on one of the freedoms granted to us by the First Amendment?
First Amendment or the Second Amendment?
First.
First, I have no clue because I don't really pay attention.
Freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom to assemble peacefully, freedom to expression.
Well, expression kind of flies under speech also.
Okay. Freedom of the press.
That's 3.
Freedom of the religion.
That's 4.
Freedom of how many is that? 3.
So you got 4. You just there's one more. This one's hard.
Okay. Freedom. I don't know. What is it?
It's the right to petition your government.
Petition the government. Okay. Yeah.
Freedom of press, freedom of religion, and I'm blanking. What are the other 3?
What are the 5 freedoms granted to us by the First Amendment?
Freedom of speech. Freedom to bear arms.
That's the Second Amendment.
Damn it. I don't know much about.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Freedom of speech? Shit, I don't know. What's after that? I don't know after that.
Okay. You want to do an interview? Can he? He's smart than me. Okay. All right, let's talk.
I'd say the First Amendment of you can speak of freedom. You can't speak to hurt other people. So I'd say you have to speak your own mind, but you can't speak about other people. You have to speak your mind about yourself and your freedom.
So if somebody was threatening to use violence on another person, then that should be restricted, right?
Definitely should be restricted.
But what if you're talking about something that just somebody doesn't like? Do you think they should be able to restrict free speech then?
That someone doesn't like, no, because it's not hurting anyone.
What about you? Is there ever a circumstance in which you think that free speech should be restricted? The government could say, hey, you can't say that? Can you give me an example?
Let me see. Like, let me see.
Let's say somebody was calling somebody else some names. Do you think that the government should come in and say that you shouldn't be allowed to do that?
Yes.
Freedom of speech, freedom of religion. I think it's freedom of press. And the other 2, I'm not exactly sure.
Freedom of press, freedom of speech, freedom to do what you guys are doing here today, pretty much, right?
And there's 2 more.
Damn, I should know this too, because I'm like a big Constitution junkie. Like, I'm like always like watching the audit channels and stuff like that.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah, I do that a lot too.
So the other two are the right to peacefully assemble and to redress your government.
Yep, that's right.
Freedom of speech. Freedom to protest the government. I believe. Freedom to. Religion, right? And freedom of press. Yeah.
And there's one more.
Freedom to do whatever the fuck we want.
Would there ever be a time in which you would believe that free speech should be restricted?
Yes.
Can you give me an example?
Like if you're saying horrible things to someone and like threatening them or anything.
So if you're threatening them with violence, you think that that should be restricted?
Well, yeah, like if you're like death threats.
That's already illegal. Yeah. So what about just speech that you don't like?
No, I think that everyone's going to have an opinion on different speech and you're not going to like everything. So, I mean, that wouldn't be fair, just going based off what you like.
Would there ever be a time in which you would believe that free speech should be restricted?
I think as long as free speech is intended with respect, like everyone's going to have a difference of opinion, but the ability to speak with respect even when you have a difference of opinion is the important thing. So if you can't speak in a level of respect, then there should be repercussions for being malicious with that speech. You know, anything like race, ethnicity, gender orientation, like we should be able to have a conversation about that and not get offended, but not use that in a derogatory way.
Speech, that's one of them, yes, but I don't even know the order. Freedom of speech, if right to have our own religion, the right to, there's a lot of lists. I can name it forever.
I'd say no. I mean, it depends. Like, you know, a lot of people tend to be kind of sensitive about certain subjects, but if it's something that offends you, I'd say just like don't partake in it, and that's part of what makes, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Only if it could lead to, if it could be dangerous. So advocating for violence towards like a group particularly. And so like the whole kind of cancel culture thing, like I think free speech is getting limited too much, but there is some cases where it could be dangerous.
Would there ever be an instance in which you would advocate for restrictions on free speech?
That's a hard question. Restricting it? I mean, yes. Like when it comes to like racism, I would definitely want to restrict your free speech on that, right?
Okay, so offensive speech should be restricted?
To a certain degree. No, you know what? No. I'm going to say no.
Okay.
We should be able to say whatever we want to say.
I would agree. Now, when it comes to like threats of violence, that should be a crime, and those are already a crime, right? But let's say...
hate speech is what you're saying, right?
Well, if I say I'm going to kick your ass or I'm going to bash your head against this concrete, that's a crime, and that should stay a crime.
Yeah.
Okay. Would there ever be a time in which you would advocate for restrictions on free speech?
No. No way.
Good. I guess I don't have much to argue with you on that. Most of the time people say yes. So do you think that government should be able to use violence on those individuals who are saying stuff that is offensive to others?
No.
Well, see, that's what the government does. Everything that the government does is through force, or at least the threat of force, right? They use violence. So what government is, guys, is it's a monopoly on the use of force in an area, right? So we have a border. We have the border.
There's the judicial branch that says what laws mean. There's the executive that carries laws out, and then there's the legislative that makes laws. I think that the reason that they do everything from force is because they think they have enough force against all the people. There's only like 6 of them. There's like 1 million people. Like people could go against them and they couldn't do anything about it.
Hey, that you make a really good point, is that they want to stay in control, right? And they don't understand that there's more of us than there are of them. So if we all stand up and say that we're not going to accept this, it would be game over for them. And they don't want us to know that, right? So part of what we're here, guys, and you guys are really intelligent. I'm glad that you guys came to talk with us, is that we think that the free market, which is just, if somebody's saying something that we don't like, that we could just not give them our business, right? We don't have to shop at that store, right? And we don't think that government should use violence against people who are just being peaceful. What do you guys think about that?
I think that it's not fair that the government tries to take control of everyone, but no matter what, there's more of us than there is of them.
I guess it all depends on basically like where you are. Obviously, like if you're in the comfort of your own home, I would say no. But like if you're out in public, I think that there like should be like some restrictions on what you say, like what's appropriate and what's inappropriate to say in public. Like, whether it's like racial slurs or, just like goofing off with your friends or, something like that.
So discriminatory speech then should be banned?
Yeah.
So real quick, you said that you watch auditing videos and stuff like that. Who's your favorite auditor?
I'd have to say Bay Area Transparency, just because they're like Chicanos, like, you know what I mean? And they're like, I don't know, they get down, so they're pretty cool.
We're huge fans of Bay Area Transparency. He's actually my favorite auditor, so that's cool, man.
That's cool, man. I like what they do. I like how they go out and stuff, and I keep these cops like really doing their jobs. I had a recent one with Denver PD where my mom was detained illegally and stuff during a warrant search for a dog, and like, so like I really like it, and I really like appreciate what people do. You know what I mean? When you guys are out here doing those kind of things, because it is holding people accountable, dude. For like, because people get sweated all the time, dude. You know what I mean? And that's sad. Like, for doing nothing, you just get approached and ID'd for nothing. Like, that's dumb. Like, why should I live in the United States? Why should I have to tell you, you know what I mean, if I'm not doing anything wrong?
Absolutely. So freedom of speech is the first one that's on the list on the First Amendment, right? So would there ever be a time in which you think that speech should be restricted?
No, not at all.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Speech that you hate is not hate speech. Like, it is free speech, dude, whether you like it or not. If I say the N-word, if I say anything I want, like, yes, it's terrible. You shouldn't say those racist things. You shouldn't be like that. But, like, whatever you're going to say is completely up to you. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I feel like that's what the First Amendment's about, is protecting that right for people to do that. You know what I mean?
We're anti, using force on individuals when they're being peaceful, right? As long as they're not hurting another individual. And we believe that a lot of the bigotry and stuff like that can be gotten rid of or suppressed through the free market rather than government interfering and using violence on coercion on people.
Exactly. I think that's the big thing. And this is like the big thing with racism too. Like, I have my nephew who's half and my son, and like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't agree with the racist thing at all. And like, that's why I brought that up too, is because a lot of people are like, wow, freedom this and that. And I'm like, dude, you have to respect everybody's freedom, dude. You know what I mean? It's on us as a society to overcome that shit. You know what I mean? Not on them to tell us when we can or can't do it. You know what I mean?
Now, does that include the freedom if and when we peacefully assemble and if someone else decides to invade upon our peaceful assembly to defend our right to peacefully assemble?
Yeah, you have absolutely the right to defend yourself if you're peacefully assembling and somebody doesn't like your free speech.
Like if we get attacked. Like let's say I peacefully assemble, National Guard comes and attacks my peaceful assembly.
The thing about the National Guard is that they swear an oath to the Constitution, right? So for them to come in and break up a peaceful protest is contradictory to their oath to the Constitution. Just like Hurricane Katrina, when everyone was all scared and the National Guard came in and was disarming citizens. That's actually against their oath to the Constitution. So, not live, but we're recording. What about discriminatory speech? Do you think that should be restricted?
That's like, could you give me an example of that?
Well, years ago, I think it's been 5-6 years ago here in Colorado, there was a baker who refused to bake a cake for a gay couple. And there was actually a criminal case going on with that, a civil case actually. And they wanted the government to come in and force them to pay money. Do you believe that that would be just for them to have government come in and force them to pay money for discriminating against a gay couple?
Like, pay money for what?
Well, they refused the gay couple service. They wouldn't bake the cake for them.
It's fair to refuse someone service just because they're gay.
Well, I would actually agree with you on that. But But my question is, would you think that government would be just in forcing that the owner of the business to pay a fine or to pay the individuals who are trying to get married and have the cake baked?
No, I don't think you should have the power to force someone to do anything like that.
Hey, I like that, the non-aggression principle, right?
I don't think you should be able to discriminate with an attack. You know, like there's going to be things that I disagree on, and America's beautiful for that, right? We all have the ability to have differences of opinion, but when you're attacking someone, I think that's when you start to lose your credibility.
Are we free in this country?
Yes and no, but I can't really answer because I don't really have a real answer for that.
But often like restrictions, I feel like just leads to like more like people doing things in like secret and hiding, and then it's like you're not really aware of how much how people really feel, and you know. So
Do you think discrimination speech should be restricted?
There's probably.
Now, let's talk about, you said racism. So do you think that discriminatory remarks should be restricted?
Yes.
Do you have friends?
Yes.
How do you decide who's going to be your friend?
Oh, that's a tough one. Energy. I feel like their energy has to be pure in order to experience my pure energy. So.
Okay, so you can feel their vibrations, their frequency, right? And then the people that you're not vibing with, you would discriminate against those individuals and not be friends with them?
I wouldn't discriminate. Like, we could still be acquaintances, but I wouldn't really, want to see you outside of that.
So then by definition, that would be discrimination.
Sure. Just because of their preference. Like, you're baking a cake. I could see where the baker was coming because that could be against her religion. Or it could be against her beliefs, right? So, but I could see where the couple is coming from also. That's just their lifestyle, and you can't kind of hate on how they're choosing to live their life. When it's your business, you're advertising a business. I bake cakes, right?
Right. And I 100% agree with that. I believe that I have an aunt that's gay. So I believe that people should be able to do whatever they want to do as long as they're not hurting another individual. But at the same time, I'm against government stepping in and using violence and coercion on people if they didn't hurt anyone, right? So to force them to pay a fine or to pay the gay couple compensation for refusing them business, we're against that. And not that I'm a pro bigotry, but I think that the free market can handle all of that peacefully and cooperatively without violence and coercion that the government uses, right? Because everything that the government does is either with force or at least the threat of force. Otherwise, without that, they couldn't accomplish anything, right? So we believe that the free market can handle that, and I'm just not going to give that baker my business now. And it's called conscious consumerism. It's the reason why people shop at Whole Foods instead of King Soopers, right? Because they don't want to be pumped full of GMOs and stuff like that. A lot of times when people are out protesting, the government will come in, police will come in, and they'll put a fence up and say, hey, you're allowed to protest right here, but you can't move past this line. Do you think that the First Amendment, the right to peacefully assemble, should have a fence or restricted areas?
No, as long as it's peaceful. As long as people aren't trying to destroy stuff and because it's kind of double-edged sword. I understand having an area, but I think if people are peaceful, I don't think there should be an area as long as they're not destroying, hurting other people or hurting those around them, hurting themselves. I don't think so.
That brings up a good point about being peaceful, and as long as they're not destroying anything or being violent. So what are your thoughts on the Black Lives Matters protest?
I think that was perfectly fine. I don't think there was any issue. I think what you had happen there was people who were not even for the protest coming in and destroying stuff so that it looked bad, like protesters were.
Well, people were in George Floyd's name using that as an excuse to go in and loot and steal and beat people up, kill people. People were murdered, right, which is not a peaceful protest. But you believe that Black Lives Matter, the leaders of the community, had nothing to do with the looting?
No.
Well, did you know that The leaders of Black Lives Matter actually said that they don't care if people loot during the protests because the companies that they're looting have insurance.
Oh, no, I mean, I guess so. If they have insurance, then.
So you think that as long as Target has insurance, the people should be allowed to go in and steal TVs?
Oh, see, now you're making it hard. I'm like, no. I would say, okay, I mean, if they're going to loot, just as long as they're not hurting people in the process of looting. No, none of it's okay. None of it's okay.
Okay, so you were going backwards there. So you come to the conclusion that the stealing is wrong, right?
It's just wrong because it's not making anything change.
So then you're against the leaders of Black Lives Matter who suggested that stealing TVs from Target is acceptable because they have insurance to cover that?
See, now you bring me back and I'm like,
I'm making you think a little bit.
I know, you're making me think. Okay, maybe they're not right. These are big corporate companies that have tons of money, and losing a couple thousands in TVs is not going to set back the company.
So does that justify stealing from the company just because they have deep pockets?
Sure.
Wow.
And I don't know if this still counts, but in our school, we read a book about this lady. When we weren't born, ladies weren't allowed to do anything. They weren't allowed to vote. Boys were the only people. They could take the women's money. They could keep house plots. They could not let women vote. They could only vote because they're kind of like the government. So they can just keep women from not doing anything.
Exactly, and the government was actually the people that were keeping women from voting, right? And they were keeping blacks from voting as well, right? And so everyone wants to put all their trust in the government, but the government has actually killed hundreds of millions of people in the last century, right? And we believe that there's a better way to organize society peacefully and cooperatively without government trying to be in everyone's business. So, do you have friends?
I do have friends.
How do you decide who's going to be your friend?
Basically, I decided whether or not they're going to be my friend. Basically, if we get along together, if they fit in my group, if I'm comfortable around them, if I feel safe around them, that type of stuff.
And then the others that you don't feel safe with or don't feel their good energy, then you would discriminate against those individuals?
I wouldn't discriminate against them. I would just basically I wouldn't consider them a friend.
But by definition, that would be discrimination.
That's true. That is true.
So I mean, where do you draw the line then? What if? So you're saying that offensive speech should be banned, right? But I mean, what if government came in and said, well, hey, you know what? We don't think that you have enough black friends, so we're going to require you to have at least one black friend by the end of this month, or we're going to give you a fine.
Right. That would be a completely different story. That would.
But see, it's a fine line. Who differentiates what's acceptable and what's not, right?
Right. That is a good question. I honestly don't know. I honestly do not know.
Stop selling us this bullshit and taking from us, really. You know what I'm saying, is where I stand. So I don't know if I'm going to be an argumentative help on your channel. I hope.
No, but we still want to highlight you, man, because that's cool. Because most of the people that we talk to are just yes, we have to have taxation. It's for the greater good of the community. And
I don't agree with that, dude. I don't agree with that on so many levels.
Is that Lafonso Ellis? Right on. You what about Mahmoud Abdul Rauf? Yeah, that's my man. Oh, he was Steph Curry before Steph Curry, bud. Yep. What about if somebody was just doesn't like a specific group of people? Do you think that they should not be allowed to voice that opinion?
I mean, I don't think if it's something really offensive, you can have those beliefs to yourself, but I don't think you need to voice it unless there's a really good reason.
So do you think that government should step in on those people who are being really offensive?
No.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you believe just the way I believe then. I don't have really much to convince you of then. Okay.
It's for my dad, so.
Oh, for your dad?
Well, me and my dad talk about it a lot. We kind of follow along with him, so yeah. I don't know. I don't think the government should have any power over. I mean, they shouldn't control us, which is what they're trying to do.
Well, absolutely. I mean, what the government is a monopoly on the use of force in a specific geographic area. And so basically, it's what if me and my cameraman Donut Hole over there decided that we're going... Donut Hole? Yeah, me, Donut Hole, and Brittany. We're going... Yeah, it's his stage name. We're going to start our own country here, and there's 3 of us, but there's 2 of us and 1 of you. So we're going to vote that you have to give us half of your income through taxes. What would you think about that?
Stupid.
That would be ridiculous, right? So what gives government
Going on, right?
exactly? So I mean, what gives government the right to be able to say, "Hey, we're going to take half of your income by violence and force"?
They don't have that right. They do it, but I don't think there's any just reason to do that.
I agree 100%. You're awesome. Are you a libertarian?
Am I liberal?
A libertarian.
No.
I think you are. You just don't know that you're a libertarian yet. So
Oh, maybe.
liberals are like Democrats.
No, I'm not a Democrat.
Well, Brittany, thanks for your time. I appreciate it. It was great to talk with you, and it's great to talk with someone that's so young that has such an open mind. Here, let me give you a card so you can check it out. It's a brand new channel. You're my second interview, so I don't have any cards made up, but this is my personal channel, and you can find us through that channel, okay? Thanks, Brittany. Have a good day. What's up, man? Yeah, sure, man. You get interviewed. All right, guys. So we did a couple interviews, and then I'm out of breath because I had to run back to my truck because I forgot these freedom books. So if you guys are checking us out, you'll notice that a lot of what I talk about comes from Adam Kokesh. So if it sounds like I'm copying him, it's because I've memorized his speeches verbatim. So that's kind of my go-to. So I got some books, so we're going to be giving them away too. And I wanted to give one to Brittany because she was really on board with us. And she's a libertarian, she just doesn't know it yet. But these books are more important to go to people who need to change their views, right? Not towards people that already are on board with us. Let's talk about discrimination a little bit deeper here before I let you go. Do you have friends?
Yeah, I have friends.
How do you make your friends?
Typically, I introduce with sports. Sports is an easier way in to figure out, hey, we view things similarly. Let's have a fun conversation about this. So typically, I engage individuals on something that I can find a common point of interest.
Exactly. So, and then what about the rest of the people? You discriminate against those?
Who's the rest of the people?
The people that you don't have similar interests with or don't have the same sports teams, you would discriminate against those people and not be friends with them?
I'm friends with everyone. My spectrum of friends is pretty diverse, and I can't.
What if a government came in and said, hey, you know what, Wally, we don't think that you have enough black friends or you don't have any gay friends right now, so we need you by the end of the month to get 1 gay friend and 1 black friend, otherwise we are going to fine you, and if you don't pay the fine, then we're going to send a man with a gun and a badge to take you away and lock you in a cage.
Do you believe the government's at a point where they're threatening to fine people because of the amount of friends they have?
Discrimination is discrimination, and everyone discriminates at some level.
Okay, I was going to say, though, too, I think that they should just let, the red states be run by the Republican presidential candidate and then the blue states be run by a blue one. And, it's whoever the president wins for that state, they can just, from a federal level, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then everyone will feel like they kind of have their voice heard. And it's might as well let the liberal states do their liberal thing and the Republican states let their do their, and that would, I feel give everyone, the voice that they think that has diminished, through the electoral system. And I don't know. I think they should do something, though, before, the polarization reaches, a tipping point. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that's an excellent first step. So I think we're on the same page on that. So thanks, Trey. Yeah. Do you have any friends?
Yes.
How do you choose who's going to be your friend?
I don't know, just spur of the moment, gut feeling. I don't know.
Kind of feel for them, and then if you have similar interests, you would be friends with that person, and then you would discriminate against those who you don't have similar interests with, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't really discriminate against really anyone, but yeah, sure.
But by definition, that's discriminating, right?
Yeah.
So that's just kind of the point that we're trying to make, that discriminatory speech shouldn't be restricted, and violence and coercion shouldn't be used on those individuals.
Yeah, I do think offensive speech shouldn't be limited, because if you're gonna talk about something intellectually or whatever, you're gonna offend somebody.
So would you agree that people should be able to use the free market to accomplish goals rather than through the barrel of a gun with government?
Yes, I agree with that.
Awesome. I think that you're a libertarian and you just don't know it yet.
I believe that the government is like a made up thing, and as humans should come together and be friends. Like, why do we have people controlling us?
You guys want to do an interview for our YouTube channel?
Sure, I want to be a fake fighter.
Okay.
Pretend I'm hitting you?
No, I don't think so.
Come on. I'm not going to really hurt you.
How do you choose who's your friend?
I choose. Sit down, please. I choose my friends by their values, their beliefs, their morals. Even if they don't know, I have friends that are not people of color that sometimes they say things that they did not know were offensive, or they had no education on it. But I choose people that are open to learn, people that are open to hear a different opinion, even if they don't like it.
And then those who are a little bit more closed-minded, you would discriminate against those people and choose not to be friends with them?
It depends how far we're talking about discrimination. Like, I don't really try to talk to people about race if I just meet them, or religions like that, because...
But by definition, that would be discriminatory, right? If you're choosing to be friends with a certain individual because you share same core values or same interest, you're going to discriminate against those who don't share those same interests, right?
No, I wouldn't. I say when you're in a workplace, you work with lots of people who have different values and different morals, and you have to learn how to work with them and communicate with them. There's plenty of people I work with that do not.
But that's work, though. That's not your own personal life and choosing your friends.
No, I don't think anyone does. If anyone, I don't think that's discriminatory, though. I think that's just...
By definition, it's discriminatory.
I mean, I would disagree on that, because I would say, like, that's hard, like, picking friends, like, because people are just different all the time.
Here, check me out, bro. So that's my card. And Denver Metro Audits, I got a lot of...
I seen you guys then. Fuck yeah, that's
oh, you
cool.
see me?
Yeah, I
yeah, right on. That's me, bro.
Yeah.
Right on.
You guys are out here together, bro. You guys are doing the most, dude. Right on. I appreciate you guys being out here taking that accountability serious, bro.
Hey, thanks for talking to us, guys. I really appreciate it. And just to reiterate what we talked about here, we're all against violence, right? And we're all against coercion. And what the government does is everything they do is with force or the threat of force, right? And without that, they wouldn't be able to accomplish anything, right? So we believe that everything that the government does can be done peacefully and cooperatively. So thanks for talking to us. And you guys sound really smart. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think it's fair, because if people can't show violence to other people without the government showing violence, and back in the day they wouldn't let black people get equal rights, and everybody in the world has equal rights, and nobody deserves to get treated wrong. Just be like at our school, the teachers say all are welcome here, because no matter what gender, what racial, whatever, anything, everybody's allowed in the school.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll give you guys all a fist bump. And here, let me give you guys my card. All right, guys, so we've been out here for a while, about 4 hours doing interviews, and we had a lot of interesting dialogue with some interesting people, and it was great. I think that there was some people that we challenged their beliefs a little bit, and they kind of switched over and they thought about it. And that's what we're here to do, guys, is one education at a time. We're here to challenge people's beliefs and challenge their thought that government is necessary, right? A lot of times people say that, well, government is a necessary evil. But saying that government is a necessary evil is saying that evil is necessary, right? So, anyways, guys, we enjoyed our time out here, and we're looking forward to coming out here and bringing you guys some more content. And we're going to shift our focus to this a little bit more. So thanks for coming in on the first episode, guys, and we'll see you sometime in between now and the rest of all eternity.